Always bet on Jack and Zach. This is episode 490, 493 of the podcast,
I believe
we'll say.
So.
It's 493 of the podcast. Remember, we are presented by Mayweather Boxing and Fitness in Scottsdale, Arizona. Mayweather Boxing and Fitness is a highly intense workout developed by the man himself, Floyd Money Mayweather. Get your membership now. Always bet on Jack and Zach is also sponsored by BetOnline.ag. Use that promo code, capital BLEAV50, for that 50% bonus during the NBA season. Hufflepuff, how are we today?
Wow, you didn't call me Hufflepuff in a minute, but I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. How about you, good sir?
I was fantastic. You were fantastic at the comedy club last night.
Thank
at
you.
The Golden Margarita.
Thank you. That was so last minute. I am surprised I even got a chuckle. I
know.
Was very pleasantly
The New
surprised.
Jersey joke kind of struck a chord with me, but I'll let it slide.
Oh, no, I have more. Believe me,
I know
my
you
whole
do.
set was originally New Jersey, but I'm saving that.
I know you
those.
do. Hey, before we start, I want to give a quick shout out to Mike Spangenberg and those guys right there, State 48.
Yeah,
Gave me
shout
a
out
great
State 48.
swag bag here of State 48 apparel. Again, go to state48.com if you haven't checked it out. This one is about Camelback. This is a Camelback design. I think we had a golf one. He went to the Open, Waste Management Open. If you're in the Phoenix area, that's something you definitely want to check out. The Super Bowl and the Open are here at the same time next year.
Crazy.
Here's the Golf State 48 shirt. What else we got in here, Zach? What else we got? We got the camo one. This one's honestly my favorite.
I don't know, the Waste Management Open.
It's the least colorful one, but I think it's my favorite. And then, of course, we have Old Reliable right here, the OG.
Reliable.
With State logo in the background, State 48, Mike Spangenberg. Look out for that episode 494 of the podcast right after this one. Thank you so much to State 48. Head on over to state48.com for that merch. But what do you got on the horizon for us today? What's on the agenda? What's on the list of Zach Kelly?
The first thing on our agenda today is All-Star Weekend in the NBA has come and passed. And special thing this year is the 75th anniversary of the NBA. So they have their 75th anniversary team. And I thought it would be fun if from that list we both pick our own starting fives. And I will let you go first.
Okay. My starting point guard
Point guard.
on my dream team is going to be Steph Curry. And you know why? Because he's one of the greatest shooters I've ever seen in this generation and in any generation. And then I'm going to take the greatest three-point shooter of all time as my shooting guard, Ray Allen.
You're gonna do your whole five before I get any picks?
That's absolutely right.
Wow.
And then I'm going to go with arguably one of the greatest players the world has ever seen, whether anybody wants to believe it or not, Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Those are my first three. I'll let you squeeze in a few.
Okay, I'll stick with the backcourt then. Okay, so for my starting shooting guard, I'm going Michael Jordan, best shooting guard and arguably best player of all time, easily by a country mile. Then my point guard, best passer in all of basketball history, Magic Johnson. So I got that, and then small forward. I'm gonna look at that list. I mean, LeBron James is the best small forward. I don't know if he works great in this lineup though. So I'm gonna say Larry Bird. That's a good as my small
net.
forward.
It's a great safety net. Now I got to pick two guys down low in the paint.
You're
two guys. I'm gonna go Shaq, not because of his playing abilities. He's one of the best ever.
Yeah,
Hall of Fame
in his prime,
caliber player,
absolutely.
right? But at the same time, he's going to bring that tenacity. He's going to bring the energy.
Bravado,
He's going to build the chemistry. Insanely well-versed businessman. I think he'll bring that to the table. So I think he's really gonna loosen things up off the court as well as be a stud on the court if he is in his prime. If we're looking at the top 5 dream teams for everybody in their prime, then he's up there as well.
No, he probably has the best prime ever. That 2000 to 2002 Shaq. Oh my God.
And then I gotta pick I guess he would be my center.
I guess power forward / center. Your 4. Who's your 4?
I'm gonna go with KG, because
That's a good
KG
one.
in his prime in Boston was one of the greatest players ever, and now he's got a movie career with Uncut Gems. He's got that connection. I think I'd be a great coach for that team. You can get me that Adam Sandler connection. See, I'm not just thinking basketball. We're going to be a very successful basketball team, but we're also going to be a very successful business partnership.
Oh, I like that. It's a nice little flavor year has that makes yours unique. All right, so I'll go with my center first as well. I'm going to go with the dream himself, Hakeem Olajuwon. One of the only players to ever win Defensive Player of the Year and MVP in the same season. He's going to be amazing on both ends of the court. And with Magic Johnson passing it to him down low, that's an unbeatable combination. You know, he's not going to get help defense on him. He's going to be on one-on-one because Jordan's going to take it. So I love him at center. And, I got to decide what I'm doing for power forward. This is the one that's tough. You know what? I know he didn't traditionally
time is money, Zach.
Play
Let's
power
go.
forward, but no, I'm not. Okay, I'll still go with more someone that fits in the four better. I'm gonna go with a local hero, the loud mound of rebound himself, probably just a couple miles from where we are right now. Sir Charles Barkley will be my 4. So my starting 5 would be Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Charles Barkley as my all-time.
There's a lot of egos in that starting 5.
It is.
Here's why I like
thing that would
mine.
struggle. Okay.
Steph Curry was molded by Steve Kerr, arguably one of the best and most humble coaches in the National Basketball Association. You have him at point guard. You got Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, who have great chemistry already because they've won championships together. Mm-hmm. Shaquille O'Neal, who's been a part of that fray as well, has played with almost all of these guys. Didn't play with Steph, played with Ray, he played with KG. Mm-hmm. And then you got, who was my last one?
Oh my God, who was your last one? Oh my God, I'm blanking.
KD. So I got KG
right.
and KD, and then he's just the best basketball player in the world. So
absolutely.
I think my team's going to gel.
I think so.
We're going to have to test it out in like NBA 2K or something.
Let's say we'll test
it
out in 2K. I'll test out in 2K tonight, and I'll see what result I get. I'll let us know next week. And you in the comments, let us know. Oh, we have a text from Hank. I love Steph Curry in the original It. Was that...
In the original It? Was he in any of the It movies? Please confirm this.
Tim Curry was the original Pennywise.
That's such a bad pun.
That's when you know Hank doesn't know sports.
Oh my God. That's why he's not on this segment. Oh, all right. So let us know in the comments what your all-time starting 5 would be and which one of ours, if our twos went head-to-head, you would think win. We'll let you know what 2K says, and we'll let you know what you said next week. But one more piece of basketball before we go into our Michael Cera segment this week. So, Lakers, 9th seed, almost 10th seed right now, might not even make the play-in tournament, let alone the playoffs. Kind of floundering. After the All-Star break, thought they were getting back on track. They lost to the Mavericks last night, but even before that, they lost to a Pelicans team that still doesn't have Zion, that's still figuring it out. And they just got blown out at home. And, Lakers fans, understandably started booing. And this is the interesting thing I want to get your opinion on. These Lakers fans, Trevor Ariza, Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, all started barking back. They started, telling these fans to shut up, said they don't know nothing, and just full on getting going.
To be fair, fans don't know much.
That is, I'm not saying that part's not true, but yelling and turning at your own fans in your own arena. I'm curious. Are you on the side of the fans where it's they have the right to boo, or do you think the players are right? It's just hey, when we're struggling now, it's not the time.
When you're struggling as bad as the Los Angeles Lakers are struggling right now, fans are going to boo. I grew up a New York Yankee fan.
Thank you.
I grew up a New York Yankee fan. We could have won 13 games in a row and lost 2 in a row, and everybody's down on the Yankees. Fire Boone, take CC. It literally turns on a dime. Fans pay a good amount of money to go to, Crypto.com center now?
Yeah, Crypto.com arena.
The Crypt. One of these days, Peacock is going to buy a stadium or an arena, and they're going to call that place.
Dude, Charles is going to have such a good time with that. Charles and Shaq, unlike that inside the NBA TNT, they're just going to be back to the Cock Arena. All right, we're going back to the Cock, guys.
Pivotal game at the Cock tonight.
Game 7 at the Cock. It's going to be great. I'm excited. Anyway,
Bedlam in the Cock.
You're gonna see. You might end up seeing Foo Fighters in the Cock one day. Who knows?
I hope so. I cried at that concert. I was telling my buddy, I'm I haven't cried that bad of my buddy leaving the Air Force until 24 hours prior to that because I went to a Foo Fighter concert. Dave Grohl really knows how to pull on your heartstrings. He's one of the best, if not the best. But back to Crypto.com Center.
Yes.
Fans pay a good amount of money to see their team play, and if they don't perform, they have every right to boo.
No,
The Lakers, on the other hand, the players know that just as well as we do. So I think that's just they're at a certain level of frustration to where they had to take out their anger on somebody. It was very unprofessional of them to do that.
Yeah.
I'm fully on the side of the fans, even though it is frustrating as a player. But you're a professional. You're getting paid big-time money to perform, and you're not. The fans have every right to react however the hell they want to react.
I'm with you 100%. And even though I get it's frustrating, here's the thing. It's a difference when, like, for example, like, it's like if fans booed, like, okay, see, almost everyone's on their rookie deal. No one is getting paid big money. They're way under the salary cap. They're in a rebuild, so you don't expect anything. This team 2 years ago won a championship, and you have 2 MVPs and a top 5 player in Anthony Davis, and you are spending all this money. You're way in the luxury tax. Like you're spending all the money. You're not supposed to be in a rebuild, and you're this bad. So it's like, hey, it's not like you guys are new players that fans have too much expectations for. I mean, Ja Morant and the Grizzlies, way younger, have way less experience than you guys, and they're the 3rd seed in the conference right now, and you guys might not even make the playoffs. So I completely understand that. But
LeBron James is supposed to be the face of the NBA too.
Yeah, and the fact
he
that
knows better.
Yeah, I mean. It was a little sad display, but that's what you love about sports. Maybe there'll be a redemption arc. Maybe the Lakers might make a run, or maybe this whole thing collapses and it's a documentary about the collapse of a dynasty. So
can't wait for that Adam McKay documentary.
Oh God. Anyway, so that's enough of NBA talk.
Do you think he's going to leave LeBron after this year?
So he
to Cleveland round 3.
So that's the thing. Okay, we'll talk about this.
Play with his son.
So. One, I don't think LeBron wants to leave. I think there's serious consideration that the Lakers blow everything up. Obviously, they're going to trade Westbrook at the end of the year, but I think they might trade all 3. They might trade LeBron, Westbrook, and Anthony Davis, just completely rebuild completely. I think the Lakers have more than comfortable with going into a full rebuild considering how much assets they would get for all 3 of those players. So I don't think LeBron wants to leave, but I think there's a good chance the Lakers do end up trading him in the offseason along with the rest of the team. And although it would be fun to see him in Cleveland right now they have a young core. They'd have to get rid of things to fit with LeBron. Right now, I think they're the 4 seed. They might have a home playoff series in the East, and they're still so young. Evan Mobley looks like he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year. Like, it's just, I mean, I have a hard time thinking for the first time at his age, I don't think Cleveland actually would want him. Again, I think he might be interested, but I think LeBron's not opposed to LA or not opposed to the other these places, but I don't think that LA or Cleveland necessarily want him anymore. If you get what I'm saying.
I'm catching your drift, but that's typical LeBron. If he doesn't find a place to win, he's at the end of his career in the limelight. He's in his light years.
Yeah, I mean, we like to think that everyone gets to go out like Tom Brady, but most greats. Their end does not go. I mean, Jordan's Wizard years, most people do not go out. Superstars don't go out with a bang. That's just we'll get used to. But anyway, that's enough NBA talk. So it is time for
the Michael Cera halftime report. Do we have Michael Cera's pickle in a desert? We don't have it, Hank. Oh my goodness. Oh
wow,
that's depressing.
Well, anyway, it'll be a pretty short segment. So. I'm trying to, gather some more interesting ones. I'm waiting for more news on the Wes Anderson movie we should be getting.
I mean, there's only so much info you can find out about Michael Cera. We knew this going in, ladies and gentlemen, as well, that we were probably going to run out of information on Michael Cera because he's not.
He's lying. He has a Hulu show coming out soon, and she will be.
We've already talked about it, though.
As soon as it comes out, we're reviewing each episode. Thank you very much.
I'm not watching that garbage.
Rude. So we're going to be reviewing each of Love Beth when it comes out. He's also going to be in a Wes Anderson movie very soon. He's also producing his own comedy. So once we start getting, behind the scenes photos and trailers for that, we'll start talking about that more. But a little bit of a low period. So today, don't worry, Michael Cera is in good health, but I just wanted we have some pictures that we're going to show, and we're going to just give a moment of silence for how beautiful and amazing our dear beloved Michael Cera is. Now, if that doesn't tug on your heartstrings, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what will. And that
was oddly peaceful. Did I see Rappaport in there? Snooki? Was that Snooki that he had a picture with on the first one?
Yeah, you never seen that picture before?
No.
When he was with the Jersey Shorecast?
No.
See, there's more to Mike. Okay, then I'll talk about
Michael Cera was in the Jersey Shore?
He made it. All right, so next week I'll have a fun one.
See, that's good information that we've never heard of before. Why didn't you bring that up?
Because I gotta let
We're preluding to the next week.
Mm-hmm. So, little sneak preview of what next week's Michael Cera segment will be, but that was this week's
Michael Cera halftime report. Again, our apologies for not having that.
He'll add it in post.
Infamous Michael Cera halftime report graphic with the pickle and the cactus in the desert, whatever the hell he's doing with that. You want to talk about the MLB lockout for a little bit?
Do you want to do that or UFC first? It's up to you. Those are the last two things we have.
Let's talk about MLB.
All right. So I'll let you go first as the resident MLB fan before I dive into my opinion.
So baseball fans around the globe, I'll be the first one to say that this is getting, not the first one, maybe like the 101st person to say that this is getting ridiculous, right?
Yes.
MLB announced yesterday that both the Players Union and MLB Baseball did not come to an agreement. MLB offered them a lucrative deal. The Players Association rejects it. So now we're in a situation where opening day has been canceled, and the first two series of the regular season have been canceled, which basically means no spring training, no Cactus League, no Grapefruit League this year. It's going to be like 2020 when COVID happened. Yes. You're just going to have to train on your own with your team, and then you're going to have to go straight into games.
Yeah. And they can't start negotiating until tomorrow. Yeah. So
there's still so many free agents out there that haven't been able to be signed.
Yeah.
There's still all-star caliber play. Freddie Freeman, Anthony Rizzo, a ton of people that I can't think of off the top of my head that are still out there unemployed who should be making millions upon millions right now.
Yeah, there's a bunch of unrestricted free agents that have not been signed to either extensions by the team they're on or like contracts by other teams right now. So yeah. All right, I'll give my opinion. I think it differs a little bit from you. I'm completely on the side of the Players Union since 2019. Keep in mind there was a pandemic.
I don't think anybody's on the MLB side. Rob Manfred needs to go.
Yeah. But so I actually, as bad of a commissioner as he's been, I don't necessarily fully blame him on this because he does work for the owners. It's just his job. He has to, negotiate on their behalf. That's just what sports commissioners do. And even though the MLBPA has been not even the best union in sports, it's been one of the best unions in the entire United States since like the 70s. It has been very, very good for its players compared to every other union, especially their sports union. I mean, the NFL wishes they had a players association like the MLB does, and the NBA's isn't even as good. So the MLB players have it good. I am not trying to get that mistaken. But since 2019, keep in mind there was a pandemic year, a full pandemic season that happened in the interim of this. The franchises increased in value by over $42 billion. And honestly, a lot of the things that they're asking for are really actually for a lot of the demands are to make, because you talked about like the housing and stuff for like some of the minor league players. It's also for people on like, rookie deals or some older players giving outside of like health insurance. Now there's a mental component to it. They want some of the other benefits to apply. Obviously, some components are, hey, we want our, some of these $300 million contracts, since you got $42 billion, to turn to 320, 330, 340, 350 million. So I'm not saying that some of these big people just don't want even bigger money, but a lot of it is for like some of the smaller players, some of the people at the end of the bullpen. And I know it is hard when people are making millions of dollars, playing a game we played as kids, to feel sympathy for them. But keep in mind, it's millionaires versus billionaires. They are definitely, and like I said, $42 billion, as frustrating as it is. And I hope that the owners come to agreement. I'm with the MLB in rejecting that offer. I just don't think it was an offer worth taking. I think the Players Association, I think the MLB, it knows that the most fans will, blame the players because they're the ones whose contracts and, sponsorship money is all public. But I have a lot of respect for the PA in a time like this, rejecting that offer and sticking hard to their guns. I really hope that Rob Manfred has a talk with the owners and just goes, look, they're not budging, so you guys got to give the players what they owe. But negotiations will start tomorrow, so we'll get more news tomorrow, which is probably when this episode will air. But it'll be interesting to see how much more time is possibly missed.
I mean, for the first time in a long time, the players are actually united. Like
Yeah.
they're all like they were offered a pretty good deal from Manfred yesterday, and they denied it. You know, because they're sick and tired of it. Here's a message that Mike Trout posted on Instagram. Mike Trout, for any baseball fans out there, he is the face of baseball, arguably the greatest player we've seen of this generation.
Oh, absolutely.
But he has the most vanilla personality. He doesn't show off. He's not Bryce Harper.
It's so
He's
funny
not, you know.
It's so funny you mentioned that vanilla personality because like Tyler Hero, who's like basically like the sixth man, like third year in the NBA, a player on the Miami Heat, has almost twice as many Instagram followers. It's like that's how bland Mike Trout is. Mike Trout is like the pinnacle of his sport, and yet like a sixth man on a contender but not best team in the NBA has double his Instagram followers. So it is as amazing as he is. It's kind of crazy how bland.
Like he's obviously like probably one of the nicest guys ever. He's just he doesn't show off, which you got to love about him. But at the same time, when you're looking at it from a brand and marketing
Sponsors don't
perspective,
like that. Sponsors
like you
when
want something like even Jeter in his day. Like he showed personality during interviews, even though he was like again the most humble, standout, nice guy. In the
Trout's
world.
much more reserved.
But here's what Mike Trout said today on an Instagram post regarding the MLB lockout. He said, and I quote. I want to play, I love our game, but I know we need to get the CBA right. Instead of bargaining in good faith, MLB locked us out. Instead of negotiating a fair deal, Rob Manfred canceled games. Players stand together for our game, for our fans, and for every player who comes after us, we owe it to the next generation. So he is leading the pack now when it comes to the Players Union, calling out Rob Manfred in Major League Baseball. That's probably the ballsiest thing I've ever seen Mike Trout do.
Round of applause for Mike Trout, especially because consider what's happened to him the past 2 seasons. You know, the COVID year and all that happened. And then even like before that, wasn't he significantly injured in the 2019 season, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah. So like, you know, he's in the prime of his career and like, he's like, you know, I'm willing to risk it for everyone else. You know, maybe my numbers don't reach. Maybe there's some records I don't break because I don't have as many games and stuff like that. Maybe I won't look as good in the all-time, you know, Mount Rushmore of players. But I'm willing to do that in order to better for the rest of the players in this league, in this game I love. You just got to give a round of applause to have the bravery to do something like that.
Well, that's Mike Trout, again, with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Hank, we got a video of an interview I did recently with a guy part of the Los Angeles Dodgers organization out at Chavez Ravine. He's a former world champion, 0-4 with the Boston Red Sox. The stolen base heard around the world kind of changed that entire trajectory of that Yankees-Red Sox series. The Boston Red Sox still the only team to erase a 3-0 deficit in the championship series.
So crazy.
He is now currently the manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers. It is Dave Roberts with his opinion about the lockout. Dave Roberts, what's going on, man?
Jack, what's that chain right there, dude?
The what?
What is that chain or whatever you got going around your necklace, around your neck?
This is
that's
just hoodies.
Okay, good.
What do you got? What do you got?
So, Jack, I just played a little golf today. I was at Lakeside Country Club, played with 3 friends, had a great day, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you.
Oh, my goodness. Are you in L.A. right now, or are you in Phoenix?
I'm in L.A., driving down after our conversation.
Oh, really? I'm in Glendale right now. I'm exactly where you're supposed to be right now.
Hey, I'm pissed. I should be there. You're right.
Do you think this lockout is going to end anytime soon? Are you optimistic?
You know what? I'm an optimistic guy, but I was planning on leaving on Monday, but I got word from some people today that they're not as optimistic as we are. So I'm still planning on coming out on Monday, Jack, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Oh, my God. I mean, at least you're giving me an honest answer. You're a manager of a major league team. You're giving me an honest answer.
I'm going to give you an honest answer, and we can remain hopeful, but I'll tell you right now, it's like both sides, like they just don't like or trust each other. So it's just a bad combo. Well, that stinks, man. But I'm hoping that you get out here soon. I have a brief story I want to tell you. I think it was 2-3 years ago. I was across the table from you at a First Watch restaurant. You were sitting with your wife, and I wanted to introduce myself, but you guys were in the middle of praying before you guys ate. And I'm like, okay, he's a good Christian man. Weird question for you. How big is Christianity and how big is faith a factor in your life? You know what? It's everything. Faith and family. And it's funny is people always ask me, how do you do it? How are you positive? How do you withstand all the criticism, and it's my faith. It really is, because I think that people in the media or fans in general don't want to hear about faith and God's will. And I just know for me personally, Jack, and this is my personal decision, that the end of the day, God knows the final score. And that's how I can kind of like have peace and get to the next day. People that don't have Jesus, I don't know how they do it, but that's how I cope. And so for me, I believe that.
Was there like an exact moment to where you figured this out and you were saved?
Yeah. So I didn't grow up with God in my family. I was a minor league ball player. Baseball was my God. And it was all about working hard, being a good person, which I believe in. But it was just like, I was just like not fulfilled. And then at that point in time, I gave my life to Christ. And it was ultimately like one of those, like, you hold on to this so much, but he can't bless you. And once you let go and let God, then it was like, holy crap, he blessed me with like a big league career and money and influence. And so that really, 1996, it changed my life.
Amen. I mean, that's awesome. And then of course, you got the stolen base at Fenway. I grew up a New York Yankee fan, so thanks for that one.
Hey, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Was that the, I mean, obviously it's talked about for you in your career, but like looking back at that, pinch running for Kev at first base, is that like the career-changing moment?
It was, and it was one of those, like, you prepare and you don't, it's one of those things where it's like, you prepare, you don't know if the opportunity is going to happen, but when it does happen, you can't be afraid to fail. And that's just not in baseball. That's like in any industry. And so for me, I was a cheerleader, I was a supporter, I was ready when called upon, and then once my number was called, I acted. And so I was just blessed. So, yeah.
Wow. Did you enjoy the Super Bowl? I want to visit SoFi Stadium here pretty soon, and I hear it's just like the best stadium in the world.
Glendale's great. SoFi's better. It's better.
I believe it.
And so you have to come. The Super Bowl was ridiculous, and you need to come out here. But before that, I better see you at spring training. You better say hello to me.
I just got signed on ESPN to do play-by-play commentary for college sports, so hopefully I can get credentialed and I'll come by.
Jack, please say hello and let me know this whole conversation, because I have to meet you, okay?
We're going to do it. I definitely want to pick your brain more about your faith and everything you got going on, man.
Done. Hey, well, thank you so much for reaching out, and then I'll see you in, let's call it 7 to 10 days.
Oh, yes, sir. I cannot wait.
So he basically confirmed everybody's belief system that these two are complete enemies right now.
Yes, he did. I have to say, it is. I mean, there was a time when, like, even people super plugged into baseball like yourself were just like, yeah, they're going to fight over money, but I don't think the games won't be missed. I remember we talked about this, I think, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, and you were like, I don't think, like, maybe some spring training, but no regular season games, like, get missed. But then, you know, I think that was before that interview with him, but I think that really put into perspective just how much of enemies they really are in this negotiation.
And again, a special shout out to Dave Roberts, hell of a guy.
Yes.
Believer as well, talked a little bit about his Christianity as well for those believers out there that want to tune into that. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's out here now, but obviously nothing's going on. So it should be a lot of fun to watch. But, you know, life must go on. When one door closes, another one opens. Jorge Masvidal back in the octagon for UFC 272.
Yes. So I'll let you take the lead on it, and I have our BetOnline number, so I can provide you all of the odds and over-unders.
Well, thank you, Hufflepuff, for setting the scene. It is Colby Covington taking on Jorge Masvidal in the main event of UFC 272. I mean, UFC 300 is going to be hectic. That could be Allegiant. That could be Allegiant Stadium in Vegas.
I think that's very likely.
But it's going to be Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal, 16-3. Colby coming into this fight. I'm going to give the edge. I don't know what the spread is, but I'm going to give the edge to Colby Covington right off the bat because he is coming off a big fight recently. Jorge Masvidal has not fought in a long time, man. He's done a lot of stuff. He's been in All Elite Wrestling recently, taking out Chris Jericho from the past few months and what I've seen of AEW television. So he's kind of been all over the place with Dan Lambert and the American, his whole club. So I'm going to go Colby Covington. I think he's more motivated. He's coming off a big loss recently. He's looking to get back into it. I think he's going to take Jorge Masvidal to.
Yeah, I mean, right now our friends at BetOnline sign up for that 50% bonus at
Zach.
BLEAV 50.
You got it right.
They definitely agree with you. They currently have Colby Covington as a decent favorite at plus 127. The money line, he's minus 318 over Masvidal. So definitely that. The one thing that I'm really curious on, because maybe it's just because we've been seeing, some of the, more light and featherweight titles, and this is, obviously, what division are these two fighters in again? What division is this?
You moron.
No,
you stupid son of a bitch.
The medium or heavyweight?
They are the welterweight division.
Oh, thank you. See?
Thank you very much. You're not a fan.
My point I literally said before this is not a division. I really only follow feather and lightweight. Anyway, so welterweights, we're seeing some more, but I'm still surprised because normally you don't really see this high of it. The over-under for the round count for the fight is 4.5. I'm curious if you go on the over-under on that.
I'm going to go the over.
Really? You think it goes at least to the 5th round?
I think these are two premier fighters in the prime of their career, and I think Colby Covington has the edge just because I think he's fought more recently than Jorge Masvidal. I think his blood's pumping. I think he's in a much better state to fight, where Jorge Masvidal is going to have to shake off the cobwebs pretty quickly.
I think that's the reason why I'm going with the under, because I'm with you in Covington, but I think the rush for Masvidal, from what I've heard, it's just been like it's so much longer since he's fought, and I just don't know if
longer. He's a much more well-rounded veteran than Colby.
That's fair, but
35 wins to Colby's 16. You can't deny that.
I know, but I still think that Covington wins in the 3rd. I don't think it goes to a 5th round. I still think
time
it
will
ends.
tell. We were dead wrong last time about Dustin and Charles.
That's true, and we also were wrong about the
Pena
and Nunez.
Nunez hasn't lost in 5 years. I think everybody was wrong.
But that
was
like the 2nd round, right?
Yeah.
That Pena. Oh my God, that was crazy. But yeah, it'll be a great fight to watch.
Yeah, Rafael
March 5th.
Dos Anjos coming back. Greg Hardy back in action after getting his face clipped in Vegas last summer.
He was winning that fight. I need to be clear because I know Dana is getting kind of impatient with him. It was close.
This might be his last chance.
But the last one.
I thought his last fight was going to be his last chance.
He was winning, and he just took. Literally, it was one hit, one backhand, and he was gone. He was actually totally. He had. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name, but he had him on the ropes, or he had him on the cage, and just one backhand, and he was out. He was actually winning that fight, and he just took one ill-advised backhand to the chin and was knocked out. So I hope he wins because you're right. A lot of people thought that was his last fight because Dana's, not about it. But I hope he wins because I love seeing him and I hope he continues. But you're right. He's on a very, very short lease now.
It'll be interesting to see. 272 this Saturday?
Yep, March 5th.
March 5th this Saturday, UFC 300. You know where UFC 300 could take place when it's all said and done?
You're thinking Allegiant?
The Cock.
Now, that would be incredible. Okay, Dana.
Peacock has about 6 months to get that going.
I've never done this before. I'm actually going to bug a celebrity on social media. I'm going to @ Dana White with this clip. Dana, please have UFC 300 take place in whatever arena Peacock sponsors so that we can have the most gladiatorial battle in the Cock. Thank you, Dana. Please.
A real cockfight.
See? The marketing it makes itself. The marketing, Dana, I got you, buddy.
It's bound to happen. And we are going to have an entire episode dedicated to it because we called it before.
Bring the whiskey
else.
back. We'll celebrate for that.
It's going to happen.
Oh, it's going to be great.
It's going to happen.
Great.
I can't wait for that episode. But we're going to have to wrap this up now because we're closing in on about a half an hour, and then this is about the time where fans start to get sick and tired of listening to Hufflepuff run his big mouth. You classless jackass.
Oh my God.
But this was episode 493 of the show. Remember, presented by Mayweather Boxing and Fitness. Remember to sign up for that 50% bonus on betonline.ag by using the promo code what?
capital BLEAV 50.
That's right. And a special thanks to State 48. Head to state48.com for your apparel now. Hanku, hit the lights.